Ohio State performance, short end of the stick. Special teams, we didn't have any effect at the game. They had 76 yards in punt returning. We had 2. They had 24 yards in kickoff returns. We had 14. Toph did down 3 punts inside the 20, but had a critical error. The only one that we thought outside of Greg Gooch did a nice job, but we just really didn't make a play in the kicking game. When you're playing great teams, you're going to play on the road this week. You got to impact your performance with kicking game, and we really didn't last week. We did honor Griffin Oaks as our special team player at the game. I think he's kicked about 3/4 of them out in the end zone, been good with his field goals, leads the conference. Won't need that as we move forward. Again, 3 punts inside the 20. We did limit some big plays, but we gave them too much. I do like the way those young snappers are playing in inclement weather, so appreciate, Matt Dooley was to me a huge loss a year ago, and Goodell and Gottsel, our 2 young snappers, are doing really nice for us, and Josh Perrick's the third guy that has done some. It's done well. Offensively, no turnovers, 1 sack was okay. 21 first downs. We had 91 plays, but not a lot of points. Had the ball for 34 minutes. We were 7 of 22 on third downs, and 1 of 3 on fourth. Didn't play quite as physical at the line of scrimmage. They really got after us. Inside run game, outside run game, down around plays, power plays, zone plays, you name it, except for the one long run by Xander. They did a great job of committing the run, and we didn't make any big plays. We didn't take advantage of the one-on-one coverage. We only had 8 big plays, and which was really one of the huge differences in the game, their big plays versus our lack thereof. We had too many 0 negative plays. We only had 3 first downs third quarter. We had 2 guys we thought played well, Dan Feeney and Xander Diamont, although Dan did have 2 holds. He did play very, very hard and tough against a good go inside with their defensive front. Player of the game was Xander Diamont. And our scout player of the week, we honored Michael Barwick, who's been coming off a slight knee injury. He's kind of back full speed. Second-year D lineman, looked really great last week. And we got some depth. He's not technically in the rotation with the D lineman yet, but he's in the mix, and it's good to see because it's a second-year guy. That second year for guys that don't play is pretty frustrating. You don't have JV teams, you have freshman teams. I think a lot of kids expect to be redshirted, but year 2 is always tough. And in my world, if you're a 5th-year kid, your second year is equivalent of a 9th grader in high school. A redshirt freshman is an 8th grader compared in that same timeline. So how many 8th graders and 9th graders play on the varsity? 10th graders play on the varsity, but they have an 8th grade team, then they have a 9th grade team, then they have a JV team. When these kids don't play in games, they get frustrated. So I was really encouraged to see Michael coming along, which we like, and it's a good deal. Defensively, I think we held them to 25-0 negative plays, which was decent. They had 62 snaps. We had a couple sacks. 2 or 3 times we held them to field goals in the scoring zone, which is good to see to step up and do that. We created 3 turnovers, which was very strong, good to see. 2 of 14 on third down was very, very good to see. They did have 10 explosive plays. 4 of their TDs. 28 points came on explosive plays. Play action, go ball into the boundary, and then the 3 runs of 55, 65, and 75. Winning grades defensively, we recognized 4 players: Chase Dutra, Marcus Oliver, A.J. Rayner, Nick Mangieri. Player of the game, Chase Dutra. 11 tackles, career high for him. Back full speed, looking good. Our scouts of the week, Mike Majette and Marquis Hawkins. Marquis a little bit like Barwick, Michael Barwick, a guy, you need to kind of keep getting better. He's got football ahead of him, so it's good and encouraging to see. Alex Rodriguez was awesome. He's had it a couple times. We could have gave it to him. I think we're just trying to spread the wealth and be like I think our coach is trying to be like a soccer club for the youth league and give everybody a trophy, I guess. But A-Rod should have got it. He's been good. Penn State, very, very good on defense. Very, very good. 21 sacks, first or second in the nation. Just great run defense. Don't give up points. Just awesome up front. Linebacker structure, well coached. Secondary, know what they're doing. Know where they're going to get attacked and how to prevent stress. And like I say, just an awesome, as Penn State's always been, awesome defense. And play at their place will be very, very challenging with crowd noise and all the great things they do there. Kicking game, I guess they had a punter maybe get hurt. They've played 2. One's a right-footed, one's a left-footed. That ball spins funny with a left-footed punter. Matter of fact, San Diego State fumbled and blotched a punt. and had a touchdown return on a defensive score is one of the differences in their game there. But they've always been great kicking game. They always have those linebacker types and safety types that are covering punts and covering kicks, and they've got some really great skill players. I know offensively they've been a little bit out of sync, but their receivers, Hamilton, Godwin, 7'5", 12, those guys can roll, and they make plays to throw it down the field. They played in some bad weather games. I think it's limited their ability to connect with the pass game. Tight ends, a couple big guys they use. Running backs, skill, a couple kids have been hurt. Their offensive skill set is very, very scary. They've had in their transition, they had some depth problems at line. They're better. They got a top JC guy. So when their line gets going and one of the premier quarterbacks in college ball can get run game and rhythm, they're a great offense. So tremendous defensive challenge, great playmakers on offense. They've been really, really close. They won 4 in a row. It's their homecoming, and it's going to be a tough environment. And we got to see, again, like I said, a couple things I didn't like. I was reading your Twitter comments about Nate was hoping to play. Well, I'm not much on hoping because my high school coach told me about that and a horse. So I ain't much about hoping. And I read something last week where a senior said it, Ohio State was a bigger week, and it's always a little bit more, and he don't get the gist of this program if that's what he thought. So we've addressed that. This is another big week. It's the next one. It's the next day, and we got to move on. And we've shown as a program that we can be good. We've shown we don't consistently move on. And so we need another great week because this is going to be a great test. And our team's getting better, and love them and respect and appreciate what they're doing. We're going to play in a great crowd environment. Man, I really appreciate our crowd last week. Our fans were awesome. The energy of that building, they affected the game. You know, Coach Epps said years ago, fans win games. And those fans helped us. They helped us weather some storms. They helped us when it was down. They stayed with us. And again, we got a team that'll fight, and like to have our fan base start to have that little pride and fighting spirit with us too, because I think as we go on the road this week, I know we always have some sections up there. We've got some alumni in New York and D.C. area. I'd like to see some of those folks get some crimson in their pockets of Happy Valley Stadium. And then like to see a great crowd as we move forward to homecoming 2 weeks. But again, I thought last week was awesome with our fans, and I'm glad we put on a hard-fought game, but we need to play better, and we expect to play better. And we haven't accomplished much yet, and that's all we're talking about is getting better and keep moving forward. A great question because, everybody talks about turnover ratio as factors. Big play the last few years in spread offense has been one of the indicators of teams that win and teams that don't chunk plays. Games played in space now. A lot of plays in what I call stress-free passing, where the ball can go in space, and if one guy misses a tackle, there it goes. When you hand it off to the runner, he's got 8, 9, 10, 11 guys to contend with. That guy out there one-on-one, can you have those guys that make plays? So it's the game's evolving that way. A couple of those plays, our structure, miscommunication, not proper alignment. We missed a tackle on one big run. But a couple of times we just didn't communicate and get lined up right and didn't fit it right when you're supposed to, quote, try to cancel gaps and be where you're supposed to be. So, but when you're playing a team like Ohio State, and Penn State's got some very similar players now. They're young, but they're two dynamic running backs. Their kid came in, their third one last week, popped a couple big ones. They've got skill sets at receiver. Hackenberg can deliver. And really our inability to make big plays. We haven't had a lot. Even our offense has done kind of efficient, kind of okay. We've not created and found big plays, so we got to work on that. That's always, to me, a difference in games. It'll be tough against this Penn State team to get big plays, and we got a daggum sure limit theirs, that's for sure. So it's just we're getting better, but that's Achilles' heel of a lot of losses every week, turnovers and that.
A little bit about the running game, I guess, as you assess it and what just couldn't get going against Ohio State. How much was maybe being down to one back there? I know having two has been a strength for you guys. How much is stuff that needs to get cleaned up on the offensive line? How much is just what Ohio State was doing?
A little bit of both, but I think also, too, they came in, you're not going to run the ball, and we need to throw it better. And we just need to take advantage of some one-on-ones and get some perimeter big plays, which we really didn't do. So, the gist of our big play today was with their man-to-man, a couple pass interference calls. So we got to get, the box got, really loaded with great athletes and fast athletes, and they're good enough to play you one-on-one out there and cover you. And we just got to find ways in our offensive attack and structure to take advantage of what they give us. They made a commitment to stop the run. We had been a very good running team. They had not done well the week before, so I know it was a big point of emphasis, and really just outnumbered and kicked our tail. And we'll see if we can respond. But part of that's our players, but also a real part of it is our plan and the way to attack it as much as anything. Penn State's a different defense. Not a lot different, In some ways, they're actually as stout or more stout. I mean, their defensive front, their linebackers, I mean, they play great defense at Penn State. There's several teams in our league that play great defense.
With Divine carrying the load, Jordan being limited, and Ricky Brookins being out, who else is in the running back mix to help going into this week?
Andrew Wilson was out there the other day, Alex Rodriguez, and it's kind of great. Like I told him last night, we're not giving you scout team guy of the week, but he was just kind of odd man out. He was kind of in the mix to be back 3 as he came through preseason. He's strong. He's benches 440 and can jump vertical for him. He's got some talent. We've seen that in spring, and so I'm pretty excited. He's been practicing great. Like I said, it should have been 3 weeks in a row as our scout team. So you can say it's scout team, but he's been going against a better defense than the other guys. So, I guess, quote, it's a drop-off. Those 3, we've been working Mike Majette as well. And so we still have, 4 guys in the stable, and we'll mix it up and go. We're not going to ride one guy out. You can't. You got to play 2 or 3 with the way we play. Hell, we had 91 snaps, I mean, so you got to play guys. You got to play a lot of guys. Next guy's got to come playing. And we got a couple guys nicked up, so it's called college football. You need to read Penn State's articles. They got guys. Everybody's got guys nicked up. Ohio State lost a great player the other night. It's college football. That's why we got 85 scholarships and 120 on the team. That's why we practice those guys hard. Next guy's going to come play. And it can be a loss, but all it is an opportunity. And I think we're getting deep enough. We've shown that guys can step up and guys hadn't been there. You saw Xander come out the other night. We just kind of kept playing. It's different, but we'll see. If Nate can go, Nate's going to go. If Nate's healthy and he can protect himself and play, he's going to play. And we'll say there's certain things he's got to do to get in rhythm and practice, but we don't need to over-practice. We need to see if he's healthy and can he execute and can he also, be put in a proper position. So he and the medical guys will go through this week. We'll prepare. Danny Cameron's better. Told you Nate Xander was better. We'll keep working at it.
In that respect, you talked a little about Nate. Also, where's Jordan health-wise? Just kind of, and is he one of those guys that can maybe be a little bit more limited in practice, but he's still ready?
You get comments that ankle injuries are hard to come by. I don't know. Everybody's different to me. Adrian Peterson came off a 6-week ACL or 6-month ACL and 4.5. I don't like it when guys say it's a timeline, because what happens? Some guys heal slower, and if you say like, hey, you're out a week and it takes 2, a kid gets psychotic and thinks it's worse. It's just, the more you sleep and you got to get your treatment, and the better you eat and the better you live and say some prayers out there, it kind of goes the way it's supposed to go. So, he's a little gimped up, both of them on ankles. They play positions, but there's no position you play that you don't have to move. And we're not going to put a kid out there that can't play. I just felt the other day like Nate tried to come back in the game, but, he was a little tender going into the game. He just looked like he couldn't move, and not only did I don't know if he could win, I didn't know if it was smart for him. So that's why we just went. And we got confidence in Xander. We have confidence in Divine. We'll find a run game. We have confidence in Alex Rodriguez. You can ask Alex. He's mad he's not on scholarship, not the starter. He's pretty good, and he thinks he is, and he'll play well. So Andrew Wilson. We'll keep moving.
Speaking with all,
I don't think any of those injuries are major though. So is it by Saturday? Is it a week? 14? Time will tell. We're not going to push it.
all the running backs that have been in, will be coming in and having a role on this team, can you mention the role and importance of Deland working with just the general group of running backs this season?
Well, again, the way we do it, and he practices, he keeps 4 up on the varsity field. And we do it because those guys run so hard, and every time we run a play, because we don't tackle, Buck's seen us practice. Them guys run 30, 40 yards a lot. So if you do that, if you give a guy in practice 25, 30 carries, it's like he's ran for 3,000 yards that day or something. And so, they don't get that many carries. So there's the timing issue's not a deal. The scheme, they're really not really that much different as far as their ability to block, catch. We'll keep running the same offense. We'll try to attack their defense the best we can. But Deland's an awesome coach, has a great relationship with his guys. He has grown into having a great understanding of our offense, a great understanding of what needs to be emphasized in preparation, whether it be ball security, blitz pickup. He's a tremendous he's only been 5 years in the college game, but he's a very, very smart, very detailed. He's a great coach, and we're blessed to have him. And he'll have his guys ready to play the best they can, that's for sure, no doubt.
With the vast majority of your receiver catches of 3 starters, what do some of those freshmen and younger guys have to do to be more part of the mix?
I keep fighting for them, but again, sometimes, the way they practice, it just, lack of trust. And, we need to get them out there. And, we keep talking about it. So, again, the last few weeks that we hadn't thrown, last couple games with the rain, quite as good as we needed to. And the opponent last week hurt us. So, you know, they're not practicing poorly. It just hadn't happened yet. But we need them to keep coming along. And they're all, no one's been a disappointment. But Thornton, Westbrook, we played a little bit more 2 tight ends than we've done, sometimes 3 tight ends. So that's taking those guys off the field a little bit. And tight ends have caught more. That used to be a story. We didn't throw to them. Now we don't talk about that. They're a little bit more. We just kind of take what's out there. So, but they need to keep coming on for sure.
This group, do you have a sense of how these guys will bounce back after their first loss?
You know, I don't. We've just been talking a lot about it. That's why I addressed last week. You know, I wasn't mad, but I was when Shaw said it was the biggest week. You know, well, it was just because it was that week, not the opponent. It was just that now this is the biggest week. And to me, you hadn't accomplished much. There's a lot of football to play. I think there's a lot of fight in this team. It's opportunities for guys to step up. I think our team has that mentality. We're going to play a tough opponent, tough place to play. Never won there. Not going to be easy, but expect our guys to prepare their best, get better this week. We've been outlining that for a long time, and we haven't deviated from it. And we did talk about we were proud of their effort. We expected that. We were disappointed that we had some mistakes that we need to fix. There's a point in time, Terry, that good teams fix them. And we're never going to be perfect, but we just keep having just enough clutter to just make when you're playing some of these upper-level teams. And when you play Big Ten East ball, you got to bring it every week. And we've shown early against that non-conference slate we would do it. Now, do you have the guts? I like Dabo's comment said, hey, bring your own guts. Do you have the guts and determination? You got to do it again. And that's easier said than done. And, it's easy to get distracted. I sure hope we weren't trying to just go out one game and play hard. I thought we were working hard to have a great season. These kids gave us their goals. They established their goals that we've got internally. And then it's been our job to hold them. So I go back to, okay, you told me what you wanted. Now I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to hold you to that practice habit, that way of living your life, that standard, and now let's go play. And so we've kind of had an internal way of setting our bar. It's been done by the players. So instead of me telling them what they're doing, they've told me what they want to do. And it's been our staff's job to push them to get to that point. And that's what we keep coming back. Okay, let's go back to where we started. You wanted this. Okay, and it's okay for us not to hold you that, right? And that way it's been a good group to coach because we're working together with it. It's been fun.
Every one of your games have been either close or relatively close. How important has that been just to make sure that everybody stays focused, nobody gets a big head, nobody gets too down, just stays focused on what they're doing?
Well, we talk a lot, and good question. We show during the week and just make points of other games that it's never over. I mean, I didn't like the first play the other day. We tackled them for a 7-yard loss, and we started jumping around like we won the game. Hey, you better line back up because here comes no huddle. You got to play the next play. They missed the field goal first half. We're all giddy jumping around like last year in Maryland. We made a long field goal. Everybody's like, hey, what do you mean? We got a lot, just get ready for the next play. And then afterwards, you can celebrate a little bit, evaluate yourself, feel good about yourself, look at your corrections, and then get in the process of prepping again and kind of keep grinding. So, I like the energy of our crowd. I think of our team. I think they'll move forward, but will they? And we'll see as we move. I mean, nothing's great was ever accomplished without enthusiasm. That's the only thing I remember from English from Miss Blackburn. I think it was Emerson that said that one. Because I believe that. I just believe in enthusiasm. I believe in energy. But I believe in channeling it the right way. And we need our kids to channel in, okay, that one's over, and now let's channel into this one and just get better this week and go get the next one. And the really good teams, that's what it's about. You guys say it's coach speak, but that's kind of what it's about. And that's how we're not only coaching, that's how we're trying to live with these guys. From one of our former players that I won't mention that just says, wow, and he used a couple terms I can't say, but all that stuff you said is coming true. As a former player, someone you guys would know and know well. And it's like, but all that stuff, turnover ratio, play the next play, keep playing. Put it in his text. He goes, you told me that a couple years ago. Like, wow. It's again, guys just are buying in. We're not particularly good yet. We're young. Got to overcome some injuries. That's everybody. Everybody's young. Everybody's playing young guys. We all do. But like I said, we're a deeper team, more talented. Still got a long way to go. Hadn't done much when you've played 5 games. Right now is when you start accomplishing and showing, have you grown? Right now is when you can separate. I don't think this team puts pressure on Steph. So I know last week everybody said there's going to be pressure on us because our fans are going to be here. Appreciate them coming. We weren't going to play that game with pressure. We were going to just go out and play hard. I think you can squeeze too tight. I think early, sometimes our teams did try too hard. I think these guys are now confident enough. They just know, hey, go play hard and flush it, whether it's good or bad, and flush it down the drain and go play the next one. And just keep going and add up and see if you can have enough good ones to get the result you want.
And Jordan, what about the other guys that were hurt?
Well, Danny Friend now has had a surgery. He had a torn muscle that had to be attached. It wasn't a knee injury, but his quad got torn. So he's going to be out, you know, through, got a chance to get him back at the end, maybe, maybe not. We'll see how that goes. He also, though, he's been redshirted, but you could apply for a medical and get a 6th year, but I don't know if guys want 6 years of football. So, you know, if you get an opportunity by the end here, come that Michigan, Maryland, Purdue, is he back? We'll cross that bridge. But he's got something that they said would take about 5 or 6 weeks. Everybody's just kind of, we got some chipped up, nicked up, but everybody's pretty good. Anything else?
How much better do you think guys are at maybe taking, or maybe not putting Ohio State on a pedestal just because they're #1 this year? I mean, you said there were a couple comments about it being the bigger week, but do you think as a whole they're much better at kind of?
Oh, because they're such a good program, I know personally, like I make that a big week because I just don't believe you back down. And so I was like, hey, the gist of having a chance to win is you got to be aggressive and go after it. And like, to me, sometimes I in those games, I don't like, hey, we're not backing down. I think that's why they think it's a big week. Like, don't. And it's led to some little bit of self-esteem or self-confidence. But I don't. We didn't talk a lot about them being #1. That was just Ohio State. It was a standard issue. They're always good. And there's several teams in this conference, in this division, are always good. And to me, we embrace that, and I think it's a part of it. I just look at some programs around this country that have been built, and one of the things they did is they embraced the challenge and use the other teams to strengthen themselves versus, them hindering you. Use them as the standard of what you're shooting for, what you're recruiting for, what you're developing for. And that's all we've tried to do is just to try to develop our team and program to be good enough to play consistent Big Ten football and Big Ten East football. And we're slowly getting there.
Forgive me, I have to do it. Is there any further update on Darius? Is that process still ongoing, I guess?
Did you guys didn't you send him like an email about the statement last week? Okay, you got that right.
Academic or?
I thought they got an email. Did everybody, you guys get it? You guys copied? I thought it said, here's the deal, and it said no further comment. Didn't say that? It was wrong. Sorry. We can close copy you. You got it. It's a right now world. If something was out there, you'd know before I did. Right? It's a right now world. Everybody good? That's part of our team. It's right now. This team's gotten to where they're not into right now. This team is into what's next and keep going. Like everybody wants things right now. This team's just, they kind of believe in that grind. And I don't like the word grinding because I think you can grind and grind it out. You can sharpen and grind that blade down to nothing. But this team's into working and day-to-day process and having fun. And like I say, we're in a right now world of info and what's going on. I think our team's kind of bought into the process of how to live and how to work and how to just kind of keep doing it. And if you just keep adding up good days, good things happen. And we're going to need our best week because Penn State's awfully good. And I know our guys are looking forward to the challenge. So appreciate it.